The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Game 1 against the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton here with his team down 2. He got the miracle roll to tie the game and force it in OT. Pacers were down by 14 with 2:50 to go. And then the last sequence here in overtime, Knicks down 3. Tick, 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 tick. Ball is loose. Pacers end up getting possession, and they run out the clock with .2 left. And what a miracle win for Indiana as they win Game 1, 138-135 in overtime. Great to have you with us here from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto along with Wally Szczerbiak. We're here for an hour-long postgame show. After the postgame show, it's a new edition of MSG PM. It's only a Game 1 loss, Wally, but this feels like a lot more than just a Game 1 loss.
Yes, this was an epic meltdown by the Knicks. Down the stretch against this team, you better be disciplined on the defensive end of the floor. Aaron Nesmith, the shots that he made and the run that he went on to close that game, it was impressive. There was some karma in that building with that shot that went in for Tyrese Halliburton, hit the back of the rim. Normally that never goes that high up and ends up going in. He was on the line, so it went to overtime, but what a win for the Pacers right there. And the only silver lining for the Knicks is it's not a 1-game series, it's a 7-game series. That was an outstanding basketball game. I mean, riveting. Obviously not for Knicks fans because the Knicks lost the game, but both sides are going to play high-quality basketball the rest of the way, and the Knicks better gear up because this Pacer team is coming.
What a wild fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson comes out of the game with 5 fouls, and the Knicks go from up 2 to up 17.
Yep.
With Brunson not playing.
Yep.
And then Brunson comes back into the game. The Knicks are up by 14 with 2:50 to go. And the Pacers scored 23 points, Wally, in the final 3:14 of regulation. That's the most points scored in that kind of sequence in the playoffs in the play-by-play era, which began in 96-97. 23 points in the final 3:14 of regulation. Aaron Nesmith made 6 threes in the fourth quarter.
We're seeing things offensively with this Pacer team that we've never seen in the history of basketball. They're that good as far as offensively, the way they shoot the ball and the way they can score the 3. I mean, the Knicks were exploiting mismatches. OG Anunoby took over in that fourth quarter. Karl Anthony Towns, an incredible basketball game. The touch that he showed, the skill level that he showed, just outstanding. It ended up in a loss, though, so it's not worth anything. The Knicks have to figure out a way to close games. They have to figure out a way to put away this team. And Aaron Nesmith just made heroic shots. The Knicks, Stan Van Gundy said it, their switches were not disciplined. Josh Hart slips on that one, gives him an open look. Granted, he made 6 threes in the last 5 minutes of the game, and then Tyrese Halliburton looks up at the clock, throws it up, hits the back rim, and it goes right in the basket. Makes the choke sign thinking the game's over, and then the game is not over because his foot was on the line, and it goes to overtime. And in overtime, the Knicks got themselves a lead early by 4, but then they didn't find guys at the three-point line. Nembhard hit a huge 3. Halliburton, great defense here by Hart. Make him earn that basket, and he does. They take that 1-point lead back. Miscommunication here by, who's that, Deuce McBride, and Mitchell Robinson leads to Toppin at 3 dunks in the end of regulation and overtime. These are the type of things that the Knicks have to clean up if they want to win this series. Because the Pacers, if you make a mistake on defense, they will make you pay every single time.
So much for defense being the major word here in playoff basketball. What a track meet tonight, and it was that way from start to finish. Alan Hahn's across the street now, joins us from inside MSG. Alan, when you're watching this in real time, I mean, what's your reaction? Just unbelievable to watch.
The amazing thing is being in the building and feeling the air come out of it when that shot by Halliburton went down. There was a feeling of maybe they can escape this thing, and that shot, the way it bounced up and hung in the air, it was silent in the building, and you could just feel the air come out of it. It was a really dramatic moment. But you know, guys, how the Knicks have often throughout these playoffs talked about trying to play that 48-minute game. They played 45 minutes tonight. Those last 3 minutes, really 2.5, they really just, I don't want to say they let their foot off the gas. What happens, of course, sometimes in this league, and Wally, you know this better than anybody, one guy just gets hot and the whole game can turn. That's the NBA. And the way Nesmith got hot, this team was – the Pacers were shooting 30% from three up until that moment, and he just detonated. And we know the history of Knicks Pacers, we have also seen that late in the game they can rip your heart out. And this is just another chapter in this rivalry tonight.
Yeah, Alan, I was in the building for most of the game. The quality of basketball on both ends.
Yes.
This series, to me, it is going to be must-watch because of the shot making, because of the skill level, and how evenly matched these teams are. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is going to be a treat. This is not going to be a knockdown drag out. This is not going to be a grinder. This is going to be an up and down. This is going to be Karl Anthony Towns getting free, getting his offense going. A lot of good signs in this game, despite the fact of how it ended. And before I got over here, I was just talking to an NBA official, just whispering in my ear. He goes, a lot of times a loss like that, you'd worry about a team. He's like, but I don't worry about this Knicks team because they're too mentally tough to have this affect them. But obviously a first game of a series is always the important one. It's a bit of a tone setter, and you don't want to lose it at home. It puts a lot more pressure, obviously, on Friday night. But as we've seen from this Knicks team, they generally rebound very well. And so we expect their best on Friday. But this series already, it shows you. Knicks Pacers, it's just different.
All right, Alan, hustle across the street. Join us here. We'll see you here in a couple of moments on the set here in our studio.
Be right there, boys.
All right, so I mentioned that Jalen Brunson with the 5 fouls comes out of the game, and the Knicks go from up 2 to up 17.
Yep.
Without Brunson. Brunson comes back in, Pacers make a run. But that is not to say that Brunson, he was phenomenal. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal with 43 points. He's now got 8 playoff games. 8 playoff games with at least 40 points, by far the most in Knicks history.
Yeah, and every Knick who got playing time, they stepped up and played well. Everyone was ready to take the opportunity and take the challenge. Obviously, Jalen Brunson was outstanding, but he had plenty of help by his teammates. When he went out with that 5th foul, guys stepped up and said, we got your back, Jalen. We're going to get us the lead. 43 points, multiple defenders guarding him. Indiana's trying anyone except the kitchen sink to try to stop this guy. And Jalen Brunson just continues to dominate, continues to score. Let's not forget, they missed a goaltending call when the Knicks were up 4, and it would have extended the game to 6 in overtime. That was a huge call. The Knicks lost their challenge early. That was a big missed challenge that the Knicks didn't get. As a result, they came away with the loss. But how about this guy? 8 40-point games in the playoffs already. And he's only been here, 3-4 years? It's incredible the level of basketball that he's playing with at the Garden.
And also of note, Brunson tied Patrick Ewing for most 30-point playoff games, and he's done it 18 times. He's played in a lot fewer playoff games than Patrick Ewing. We have the goaltending call that you're talking about, Wally, that obviously they you know what? They missed it.
They missed it.
Yeah.
It's really close. Miles Turner's in the game. Jalen gets it up on the basket. You got to see it from a different angle, because from there it looks like he gets it as it meets the backboard. But when you see it from the back angle, it was a great camera angle that was on the game, you could see that it just nicked the backboard first. It's a really tough call to make live. Normally those officials will blow the whistle normally they'll blow the whistle just so you can go and review it. But they didn't. Hey, that's how it works. It was a bang-bang call. Sometimes you're not going to get those calls, and it was a huge one. But at the same time, no matter what, the Knicks had a 14-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go, and they ended up losing the game. So they got to recoup. That locker room has to re-engage. It's not going to be easy to get game 2. This Indiana Pacer team, when they have confidence and when they get a lead and when they're ahead in a series, they are a downhill team. So the Knicks are going to have to make some serious adjustments, try to get game 2 at home here, and make this a long series.
Nesmith for the game, 8 of 9 from downtown.
Unbelievable.
6 of 7 in the fourth quarter, ties a career high with his 30 points, and the 8 made threes a career high. It's just amazing. You watch the modern-day NBA. It truly is not over till it's over. We'll hear from the Knicks coach and also Monica McNutt's perspective coming up.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
miraculous Game 1 win for the Pacers as they are down 14 in regulation with 2.5 to go and end up beating the Knicks in Game 1 in OT by 3, 138-135. Game 2 Friday. Of note here, we now are going to be doing hour-long pregame shows, so we'll see you Friday at 7 prior to Game 2, and as always, after the game, an hour-long postgame show after game number 2. Karl Anthony Towns, we talked about in the pregame. Whatever it is about the Pacers, Karl Anthony Towns rolls against the Pacers. 3 regular season meetings, over 30 points per game was his average, and tonight in Game 1, Wally, 35 points. Why is he so effective against his team?
They don't have a guy that can guard him. Miles Turner is a great shot blocker, one of the best in the NBA, but he is a protect the basket type big. He doesn't like roaming out on the perimeter. He doesn't have the foot speed to contain him. Karl Anthony Towns is just ripping the net every time he gets the opportunity. And then if you guard Karl Anthony Towns one-on-one, even with a bona fide center like Miles Turner, he can score. And then they also tried Pascal Siakam on him in the fourth quarter and in the second half, and Karl Anthony Towns torched him also. Now let's not forget, Karl Anthony Towns had made the first free throw, then missed the second. OG Anunoby missed the first free throw, made the second. So if the Knicks make their free throws in the last 20 seconds of the game, they win this game. But Karl Anthony Towns has a big matchup advantage in this series. He's going to have to take advantage of it because the Pacers do not have a guy that can guard him.
All right, so dynamic duos, Knicks teammates with at least 30 points in the same playoff game. Brunson and Towns now have done it twice, and you see the other duos that have done it in Knicks playoff history. All right, Alan Hahn has made his way over to the studio. He'll be on here with us shortly, but now, first, let's go across the street and say hello to Monica McNutt. How was that radio call tonight, Monica, on ESPN New York? I can only imagine what was going on in the radio booth down the stretch of regulation tonight.
You might have to explain this one, Pidto, but tick, 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 tick. Man, free throws. I think I heard Wally talking about it, or was that Hahn? I'm not sure which one of you guys it was, but I'm stuck on the free throws. You have an opportunity to keep it at a 2-possession ball game late in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals at home. You can't. You just can't. And I can even stomach the fact that you gave up a 17-point lead or a 14-point lead, depending on where you want to stop the clock, because of what we've seen through these playoffs across the league. The free throws, to me, Now, second to that, though, that non-goaltend call that led to a 3 on the other end for the Pacers was costly, but it happens.
Yeah, I'm with you, Monica. The emotions in that game were just roller coaster, up and down. How did the Knicks bounce back from this one? I mean, honestly, this is just a crushing loss in Game 1. How do they bounce back in this series?
Well, first, Wally, they get off their feet and take care of themselves, because I thought, certainly in the overtime, without question, the Pacers were the fresher group, and I thought you started to see it in the fourth a bit, where the Pacers were the fresher group. And we talked about it pregame. How do you contend with the depth that this team has? And so step one to me is top-level A1 recovery, whatever those routines are in terms of what you're putting into your body and how you're caring for your body is probably the biggest step. And then beyond that, I thought they played good basketball. I would like to see them maybe get Jalen Brunson a few more breaks to get him off the ball so he doesn't have to deal with the tenacious ball pressure the length of the floor, or get some screens set a little bit deeper into the half-court set so that he's not going sort of toward the baseline and the half-court line, where it ultimately ends up being a potential four-way trap. But yeah, you got to keep digging deep.
All right, Monica. Thanks as always. We'll see you on Friday night.
No problem, guys.
All right, let us now listen into the postgame comments from Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau, as always, presented by Chase.
Tom, you guys were obviously up 14 with about 3 or so minutes left. Just what'd you see that let them come back and force OT?
They can score the ball. Nesmith got loose. Halliburton hit big shots. You just can never let your guard down against them. No lead is safe.
Coach, Brunson had 4 fouls. You start him in the fourth quarter. What was your thinking about that?
Just, the way the game was going, and, just a coach's decision.
Coach, on Obi's dunk, at that point, was the instructions to foul or just let him go to the hoop?
Yeah.
Tom, how disappointing is it, I guess, just the team played so well when Jalen got that 5th foul? You guys went on a 14-0 run. I know that obviously, as we saw, it doesn't end the game, but just that sort of momentum to not close this out.
Yeah, there's obviously disappointment when you fall short, but it doesn't. We have to take a look at the film, make our corrections, and then we got to change quickly for game 2. We got to be ready for game 2, and that's all you look at. So you have to take disappointment and turn that into more determination.
You guys have been on the other side of these in the last series, big fourth quarter comebacks. Just kind of, what did you see? Did you see a common denominator there down the stretch?
Yeah, just, and again, your defense, you got to be able to count on your defense. We missed some free throws. We got to make sure we have awareness as to what's going on.
What do you think was the issue with letting Neesmith get loose again?
We got too much airspace, and some of it is transition. Some of it is, coming off pin downs. Some of it, communication. Want to take a look at the film.
Tom, on the other side of the ball, did you feel like guys got a little too loose in the final minutes offensively and a little sloppy with the ball?
Yeah, the turnovers were costly, so and then they converted them into easy buckets, so that sort of fueled their offense. That's what got them going again. They started off the game, in a good rhythm, and then, we did much better as the half went on. And then, down the stretch, we didn't do what we needed to do.
Coach, what do you do going into game 2 Friday to bounce back from this? What do you tell your guys to put this behind them?
Yeah, the same thing. There's a lot of emotional highs and lows in the playoffs. You got to bounce back quickly. You look at the film, make your corrections, get ready for game 2. And that's, when you go into the playoffs, you lay out the plan of how you're going to approach the entire playoffs.
All right, Alan Hahn back with us, coming from across the street. I thought, overall here, guys, one of the themes coming into the contest was pace. Could the Knicks hang in there? Would they try to slow down Indiana? I thought they outpaced the Pacers in many regards, which might be something positive going forward. Yes or no?
No, there's a million positive things. The negative thing is letting a guy get hot like that. I thought they were doing a great job taking away the three-point line as well, as they were forcing the Pacers to drive more and get into the paint more. They weren't giving up as many threes. And then late in the game, when you have a big lead, a double-digit lead, I don't know if there's a fear of fouling, so I don't want to foul, so let me just back off. And in this league, all it takes is one guy to get hot, and he did. He was 8 for 9 from 3, 8 for 9.
6 for 7 in the fourth quarter.
No one else could make a 3. So that there's so much of this, but just leaving the Garden just now to come over here with you guys, how many fans were stunned and just kept yelling to me like, what happened? What happened? And simply put, remember what the Knicks did to the Celtics twice?
Yes, exactly.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
And the same thing that the Celtics were feeling and thinking is that, so for the Knicks, you have to learn something. They are just like you. Mm-hmm. They never stop. They keep going. They can score in bunches. And now you've learned your lesson that you cannot at all. This is why Tom Thibodeau, when people say you should take guys out of the game, they're up by this is why he doesn't do it for a moment like this.
Yeah, that was just when you're up by 14, I remember when we were in that situation, all we used to tell each other is just don't give them threes. That's all Tom Thibodeau was telling his guys. Just don't let them get open for three, because twos don't hurt you.
Right.
When you're up that much, I mean, that's 7 possessions if they only score twos. If you're up 14 with 2:45 to go.
Yeah.
There's not enough time left in the game.
Right.
The three-point shot, though, the Knicks gave them, I mean, listen, I get the guy just went off. Like 8 for 9 is incredible if you're wide open in the gym. But you cannot let them get that amount of threes when you're up that much.
Right.
Now, the game is tough to defend. I agree with you. Fouling, maybe, that goes through your mind. You can't foul either.
You don't want to stop the clock.
Can't foul on a 3 either.
Right.
So maybe that makes you a little bit hesitant, but you have to just be on the same page as a team with your switches to just run them off the 3 and not let them get good looks. And when one guy starts getting going, do not let that guy get multiple good looks.
Yeah, it's just incredible to think.
And another thing, like in my experiences in 7-game series, when you let one slip through your fingers,
now you got to steal. Now you got to take one.
That could be very costly.
Yeah,
could be very costly. You always look back at series, especially with evenly matched teams, and you think to yourself, what if we would have gotten that one? That's the one that we let slip away. Let's see if now it's the first one. That's the only silver lining in this one, because if it's later in the series, it can really hit you harder. But the fact that it's the first one, the Knicks have to bounce back quickly from that meltdown, because that was a big-time meltdown that they let go.
Historically in the conference finals since 1971, the winner of Game 1, 78% of the time, will go on to win the series. Historically, that's the number for everybody to know.
You know, for those who got to watch some of the Pacers-Cavs series, Pacers had a couple of miracle wins.
What they did.
Yeah.
And
The Knicks weren't the only team doing that.
Right. That Tyrese Halliburton, too, there. That he get that roll.
As I told you guys,
How does
that bounce, the air came out of the building. It's amazing.
All right, Rick Carlisle, the Pacers coach, we're going to get his post-game reaction. His team now up 1-0 when it looked like they were going to lose Game 1. Stay with us, everybody. Pacers come back and shock the Knicks in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 138-135 in overtime. Game number 2 is Friday, and note we're now going to have hour-long pregame shows to go with our hour-long postgame shows, so that means we'll see you Friday night prior to Game 2 at 7. Here now is Indiana coach Rick Carlisle.
Well, this is day 1 of 13 days, and remarkable resilience by our guys, hanging in, finding a way to get the thing to overtime, and then made enough plays. But it's a long series. We're not going to get too excited about this. We got things to clean up. They got things to clean up. Game 2 is going to be another war.
You're going all the way back to the first round with the comeback against Milwaukee late, and what you did in Game 2 against and now this. Does the poise that your guys play with in games, does it ever surprise you?
Well, we've had a lot of these games this year. I mean, we've probably had a dozen of them throughout the season. A lot of the games early where we were struggling were games we had to pull out. There were clutch games when we weren't playing particularly well, and it's just it's a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets, and it's not easy. It's not easy. There's been a lot of wild swings and scores throughout the season and the playoffs. But you certainly don't take anything like this for granted. This is very, very difficult to do, but it's a 48-minute game, and we always say, Pacer basketball is 48 minutes, and tonight it was 53 minutes.
What did you make of Aaron's shot-making run in that last 5 minutes of the game?
Well, Aaron, the thing that put him in position to do that was Shepard going in there and giving us, 7 or 8 really strong minutes, just playing at full capacity, picking up full, all that. It allowed Aaron a chance to rest a little bit. So he came back in the game fresh, and he had his legs. And I don't know how many he made down the stretch. Seemed like it was 5 or 6 or 7, 6. They were all very much needed. And look, NBA players are amazing. I mean, these guys get on a roll, and they do amazing things. And so, Brunson makes stuff like this look routine. Aaron got hot certainly at the right time.
Rick, you obviously, this is about today's game and this year, but you're familiar with NBA history. Was there a part of you when Tyrese did the choke gesture and Miller's on the call? Do you appreciate the historical tie-ins here?
I'm not getting into any of that stuff. Doesn't make any sense. This fan base is difficult enough to deal with without getting into a lot of unnecessary words. I mean, we have great respect for these guys. They beat us 2 out of 3 during the season. I've been watching them plow through great teams. It's day 1 of 13 days.
When Tyrese's shot at the regulation goes up in the air, do you think the game over? Did you have to get any chance to come back?
I mean, at first I thought he was behind the line, so I thought maybe the game was over. Everybody reacted, but look, it's the emotions of the playoffs are such that you expect there to be some reason that it's not total exuberance, So, look, we got to overtime. That's good, and we had 5 more minutes of life, and and found a way. So
Coming up, Tyrese Halliburton, the game-tying 2. Guys will break it down coming up. How do they do it? Next from the Wally Wall. Pacers beat the Knicks by 3 in overtime, now lead the series 1-0. Here's what is ahead, and if the rest of these games are like tonight's, we're all going to need new hearts. Note that we are now going to have hour-long pregame shows prior to each game, and we continue throughout the series with hour-long postgame shows. So Game 2 Friday will be on the air at 7 with our pregame show. Over now to the Wally Wall with Alan and Wally, guys.
The shot making in this game. The way it started, the way it ended. It was just, the efficiency and everything else. It was just an incredible, incredible start and finish to the game. But Aaron Nesmith, he was the guy that just got hot. He hit 6 threes in the fourth quarter, 6 of 7, 8 of 9 in the game. So he was feeling it. But here's one that Wally wants to show. Knicks had a 5-point lead. Yeah. How he gets this off and knocks it down, let us know.
Yeah, you got to defend the three-point line. I mean, here you are, 30 seconds to go, up 5. A 2 doesn't hurt you. And the Knicks have their defensive lineup out here. Freeze it. Now, Mitchell Robinson, here's the screen. Here's Nesmith up here in the corner, comes off the screen. Mitch does a good job of giving Josh Hart a room and an angle to shoot the gap. Josh Hart shoots the gap. He's right with the shooter, but he ends up losing his footing and slipping. And when a guy's this hot, you can't give him that wide open of a look. That's a sloppy closeout. He doesn't have his feet set correctly. Nesmith, one dribble, wide open look, softened up his legs, already in rhythm, already totally hot. Josh tries to get back up there. He can't. Huge 3, cuts it to 2. Now you got a real ball game. You're putting pressure on your free throws. Anunoby missed a free throw down the stretch. Cat missed a free throw down the stretch. That's how you find a way to lose a game when you're up 14 with 2:45 to go.
And there was a moment there at the buzzer that the Knicks and the fans in the building thought the Knicks lost the game there at the end of regulation when this Tyrese Halliburton shot somehow, some way, bounces way up towards the ceiling and drops in.
Yeah, this was, I've never seen a ball go in after this. Hitting the back rim the way it did, goes straight up in the air. This is really good defense. Mikal Bridges knows the 3 is the only way you can lose, so he pushes him to Mitchell Robinson. Great help by Mitch, and then there's a switch over here to Turner, which Bridges does a great job to get over to Turner to defend him. And now you got Mitchell Robinson using his long arms. Look at the freeze it. There's the foot just on the line. And Mitchell Robinson, great contest. And we're just like, is this really going to happen? The buzzer goes off, hits the back of the rim, out of the frame.
Where's the ball?
Are you kidding me?
Somebody open a window.
I mean, blow it out of there, exactly. Right through the rim. I mean,
clean.
That is just incredible karma, fate, whatever you want to call it. But wow, was that a big-time bucket right there by Tyrese Halliburton. And then he thinks it's over, and it's not, and it goes to overtime. Just an incredible basketball game with a roller coaster of emotions. This is going to be a really fun series.
It shows you also the players understand the history of this rivalry, because the first thing he did was go over to Reggie Miller and give the choke sign, and still took 5 more minutes to complete. Well, there's a lot to explain about how this game ended. Josh Hart right now is going to try to do that.
Josh, the team did so many good things tonight, but couldn't hold on to a 14-point lead in the final 3 minutes. What turned?
We didn't close the game out. I feel like our intensity dropped. We started playing slower and playing more into their hands. So, we let that one slip. And now we just got to make sure tomorrow we go in, we watch tape, we see where we could have been better, and we're right back Friday.
Josh, you guys were obviously up 14 with 3 to go in the fourth quarter. Just what did you see unfold from that point on?
We didn't finish the game out. Like I said, we didn't run through that finish line. I feel like we defensively we didn't have, we let off the gas. The intensity, the physicality wasn't there. Offensively, we were playing slower, a little stagnant, and looked like we were playing out to lose. So we got to make sure, we don't make that mistake again. So obviously it's a tough one. We're all disappointed in it, but series not over after one game.
Toughest loss you've ever been on. Side of results like this, but you guys were chipping away at like the 8-minute, 7-minute mark. Just being out there, was it kind of unique in the way that it all happened at once and kind of like the final seconds? Was it hard to kind of wrap your guys' head around what was happening in the moment?
I don't know. It was disappointing. We gave them, open shots. Even in overtime, we were up one. We gave up offensive rebound dunk. We got scored, and then I just fell asleep defensively, and Nemhard got a layup, and then so it's tough. But like I said, it's back to the film tomorrow, and then right back to Friday.
How hard is it to recover after an ending like that?
There's obviously, like I said, it's disappointing, but we didn't think this was going to be an easy series. We knew that's a tough opponent, and this doesn't change that. So we got to go out there, like I said, watch the film tomorrow, get better, learn, and not let it happen again.
Aaron Nesmith, 6 made threes in the fourth quarter, 20 fourth quarter points. How did he do it? He'll explain coming up. Welcome back. Pacers shocked the Knicks and win game one, 138-135 in overtime, setting up a just about must-win situation for the Knicks in game two Friday night. Hour-long pregame shows now means we're on the air Friday at 7. Hour-long postgame show after game two and the rest of the series as well. Aaron Nesmith, the fourth quarter hero for the Pacers. Here he is now after the game.
I was just doing what the team needed of me, I was just letting them fly. I was in a good rhythm. Didn't really realize what I was doing in the moment. Just trying to win the basketball game.
Your emotions of winning games like this, you guys have done it 3 times in 3 weeks now. Are they still the same as it was after the Bucks game, or is it?
It's always the same. It's always special. It's always fun. This is what we live for. This is what we, work every day for, work so hard for, is to perform and to show up in these moments. And, we just continue to do it time and time again.
Aaron, I can ask you to defense what you were explaining there, your flow state, if you will, what it's like to be on the floor in those moments. It's hard to describe.
Yeah. It's unreal. It's probably the best feeling in the world for me, personally. I love it. Like, when that basket feels like an ocean and anything you toss up, you feel like it's going to go in. It's just so much fun.
What was the player sequence that kind of changed it, maybe individually for you, but for the team? Can you think back to this point?
I can't. I'm sorry. I just remember in those last 3 minutes, kind of a blur, to be honest with you. Just fighting, scrapping for every loose ball, boxing out, making shots, making plays, and doing whatever he can to win.
Aaron, when Tyrese's shot goes off the rim, do you think it had a shot? Honestly.
Well, I was right under the basket, so when he shot it, in all honesty, when he pulled it out and shot, I was like, oh, wow. And then it bounced up, straight up, and I just watched it, and I was like, oh, that's good. And it went straight in, and, he's a special talent. He's a special person, and he continues to amaze me every time.
All right, Jalen Brunson was great with 43. Cat, great as well with 35. We'll hear from each of these Knicks when we come back after this. Pacers scored 23 points in the final 3:14 of regulation and beat the Knicks by 3 in overtime. Jalen Brunson for the Knicks, 43 in the loss. Here he is now at the postgame podium.
Jalen, how do you summarize, you guys had a 14-point lead with 2:51 left to go. How do you summarize how the game closed?
Can't really summarize it. Give them a lot of credit. They closed the game out like they've been doing it all playoffs. Just not really good on our part.
Pretty rare to see a guy like Nesmith hit 5 threes in a row in late game. Just what did you see on the defense from him that let him get those shots up?
It wasn't rare or a rare sighting. He can shoot, and but no, when good teams, when they have a hot shooter, they find him. So it's just not good on our part, and finding him in transition and him getting open spots.
Pacers stole the game in the last minute. How difficult is to recover from something like this, and we're learning from this?
Tomorrow we watch film and get together as a team and just reevaluate and then be ready for game 2.
The lead was so big with so little time left. In the moment, are you realizing, kind of seeing it going down quickly, and are you realizing how hot he is?
I mean, yeah. I mean, once he hits one, you got to be on high alert, and so just I got to do a better job of finding him. And I think he had like one or two that started it off with me in the vicinity, and just not a way to close the game.
Jalen, and end of the game, they started trapping you more, like in the fourth. How'd you feel like you responded in those situations, and what do you feel like you could have done there?
Not turn the ball over and give my teammates a better chance to close out this game. Just turn the ball over doesn't help us. And I feel like I can, but also I feel like I know how not to turn the ball over, and so just like I said, it's not a good way to end the game.
Kat, how tough is this loss for you guys, and how do you guys bounce back?
I mean, any game you lose is tough, especially in the playoffs. How you bounce back? I mean, you just get back in the lab. Tomorrow we get to practice, watch the film, and get ready for the next one. That's the only way you bounce back.
For either of you, I mean, obviously we've talked so much about the nature of the comebacks against the Pistons, the 3 double-digit comebacks against the Celtics. What, I guess, being on the other side of this and the emotional weight of that, I know you were going to say you want to wipe the slate clean, but just how different is it to kind of be on the other end of it, and just how do you come back from it?
Yeah, I mean, in the playoffs, when you win, it's the best thing ever. When you lose, it's the worst thing ever. And so the best way to deal with all that is just stay level-headed and making sure we have each other's backs. Obviously not the way we wanted to finish the game. But I mean, like you said, tomorrow we got to watch film and get better, and just making sure that we're ready for game 2.
Carl, obviously you're from here. You know the history of the Knicks and the Pacers, although it was a long time ago. Is there any part of you that's kind of aware of the historical similarities between this game and I know Tyrese did the choke gesture, the same thing with Reggie Miller on the call. Is there any part of you that's thinking about that, or can you process that as a New Yorker?
I mean, it's our job to make history. So we're not here to repeat history. We're here to make history. So that doesn't pop into my mind. I only think about the present and what we could do right now so we can make our own history.
For either one of you, I mean, for 46 minutes, you guys were keeping up with their pace. You guys were kind of meeting their intensity on the glass. Is it hard to, I know probably right now it is, but when you step back and you look at this game, you guys did what you needed to do to win the game until the final 2 minutes. Can there be positives that you take from this and build on it as you go into game 2 and not get too down on yourself?
I mean, we didn't do what we needed to do. We would be coming in here talking a whole different ball game, but there's a lot of things, like you said, that we did good, and we put ourselves in a position to win. It's just about, I've said this multiple times, just executing and being disciplined for 48 minutes, doing that for more of the game than we've done in the last 2 series. We got to be better, in this series, especially against this team. And, like you said, we played 46 good minutes. Those 2 minutes is where we lost the game, and that's on all of us. So we all got to be better. We all got to step up to the plate.
Jalen, does the experience in the playoffs of dealing with adversity and overcoming adversity come into play here after a game like this?
Yeah. Obviously, it's not a good feeling, but a lot of basketball left to be played. So we can't sulk. We just got to get better.
Two questions, one for you, Jalen, and for Kat. Did the referees give you an explanation of why they didn't call goaltending on your drive late? And then the other question is, when Obi, you guys were down 1 and Obi got the dunk, was the plan to let him score right away, or was it to foul him?
To answer your first question, no. No explanation. And it's a great question. I think we should have fouled, and we just didn't.
Guys, Detroit had a lot of open looks on threes. Boston had a lot of open looks on threes, and tonight Indiana had a lot of opens on threes. How do you close that gap? How do you defend that so that they don't have those clean looks at those threes?
We got to get to their bodies and stay connected. And they play at a fast pace. They play a space game. And so now when they're driving the lanes, and it's easy to collapse, and then we're in rotation, and then they're lining up open threes. You just got to rotate better and get to bodies better, and just making sure we're connected.
OG Anunoby had 16 points for the Knicks, but missed a key free throw late, as did Cat. We'll get Anunoby's post-game reaction coming up.
The Knicks post-game show is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
After the post-game show, it's MSG PM, presented by Caesars Sportsbook in about 7 minutes or so. OG Anunoby here after the Knicks' three-point loss to the Pacers in overtime. Here's OG.
They made shots. We didn't. We made some mistakes. Missed some free throws.
Coach used the phrase, with disappointment comes determination. How do you guys bounce back from this?
Oh, just watch the film and learn from it, you know.
What were some of the positives that you saw out there by the team tonight?
I thought we had a good... we had the lead, so we were playing pretty well, getting stops, scoring, playing fast. I don't know.
OJ, it's pretty rare that you see a guy like Neesmith hit 5 threes in a row late in the game. Just what did you see that let him get those clean looks?
Oh, he was just making some tough shots. You know, he's a great player, so not surprised with it. Just have to watch the film and adjust and learn from it.
OG, what is it about this ball club that has enabled you to come back from adversity numerous times this year in the regular season and playoffs?
Just being a resilient team and knowing it's just one game. The series just started. It's just one game, so just watch the film, learn from it, and go from there.
OG, you guys have obviously been on the other side of these a couple times throughout the postseason, but you guys started chipping away at 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Was there kind of like a rush of them being able to do it in the final 2 minutes, almost like you're looking up and it's like, oh, the game's almost done? Was it just unique in the time in which they made their run, I guess?
Yeah, they made a bunch of shots in a row. I think we went a little bit cold in that time, so yeah, it just happened like that.
Back now from the corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. About this, too bad we can't pop one of these right now.
Wow.
When they look at the film, Wally, keep talking about learning from looking at the film. What are they going to learn when they watch this film tomorrow?
You're going to scratch your head and say, how did we let that game get away? And it's gonna be clear and evident how they let that game get away. They let a guy, Aaron Neesmith, get pretty decent looks. He made maybe 1 or 2 really tough shots from behind the three-point line against the shot clock. But overall, in this league, when you let your guard down and you make mistakes, teams are trained and players are trained to make you pay. And that's exactly what they're going to learn from it. I hope they learn from it, but at the same time, you can learn as much as you want from it, but the beauty about sports is it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be in those same situations in the next game or maybe in the rest of this series, because any game can take any different turns.
It's just amazing the history of this rivalry to have a moment like that.
Yeah.
Players don't want to talk about it, players don't care about it, but everybody in the media is going to do that. And so there's 2 ways you look at it. The choke game, the Knicks won that series. That was a game 5
That's
in
a great
1994.
point. That's a great point.
But Reggie Miller's 8 points in 9 seconds, that was game 1 of 95. They lost that series. So.
Tyrese Halliburton, guys, 31 points. Only 4 of 12 from downtown. It was his 2 that forced overtime. Here he is on the tying shot at the end of regulation.
In the moment, I wasn't like plotting on it or anything. Everybody wanted me to do it like last year at some different point. But it's just gotta feel right. And it felt right at the time. If it would have been, if I would have known it was a 2, I would not have done it. So I think I might have wasted it. If I do it again, then people might say I'm like aura farming. So I'm not. I don't plan on using it again. Yeah, special, man. I think AA works his tail off. I think each shot that he made just kept giving us more confidence that we could, really win this game. So he was really big for us. And I think to do what he did today while also having to guard Jalen Brunson for probably 30 minutes is very difficult to do. So like I said, what Aaron Neesmith did today can't be talked about enough. And, yeah, it's really proud of his effort and our group's effort.
All right, so we got game 2, Wally. How do they bounce back?
Well, they did a lot of positives. You got to hit this team first, hit them hard, and you can't make mistakes, especially defensively.
You got to be happy about most of what you saw tonight. Just keep doing it.
Fans were eagerly anticipating game number 1. Knicks got off to a solid start, but it was the finish as the Pacers come back from 14 down in the final 2:50 or so to force overtime and beat the Knicks in overtime. Cat had 35. Knicks really struggled down the stretch. Cat had 35. Tyrese Halliburton, the miracle to force OT. Pacers win in OT. We'll see you Friday at 7. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.